As photographers, should we stop caring about shooting at incredibly high ISOs? Now, this is a question that I've been asking myself for the last few weeks, testing the R6 Mark III. Recently, I headed to the Yorkshire Dales in England to photograph the red squirrels. It's a great place to photograph them. It's one of the last strongholds in the United Kingdom. The downside, though, is the Yorkshire Dales is usually overcast, and it definitely was when I was there. In fact, it was slightly snowing, so no strong sunlight, as well as we're shooting in a really dense and dark forest, which means I was really struggling with light, which means you're gonna have to raise your ISOs, and I was shooting at ISOs that I've realistically never shot before. Now, I'm a Canon R5 shooter, which means realistically the highest ISO that I would professionally shoot at is around 6400, maybe 8000 in certain environments, but never higher. But when I tested the R6 Mark III, I actually shot at ISOs up to 25,600. And I was genuinely thinking that, to be honest with you, these photos are going to be rubbish when I get back to the studio. Now, I've been testing the R6 Mark III for a while now, and its low light performance has genuinely surprised me. So today I want to show you a couple changes that I'd make inside this camera, as well as to show you how good the low light performance is, and a few changes that I would make inside Lightroom to change a 25,600 ISO photo into a photo that looked like you've shot it at your base ISO. And I'm gonna start right now. So when you are shooting in a low light environment, the first setting that I would make sure that I'm getting right in my camera is making sure that you're shooting the right exposure, and never underexpose your low light or nighttime photos, because you'll definitely regret it in post-production. You might think that, oh, what I'll do is I'll underexpose it, shoot at slightly lower ISOs, and then raise it up in post. But actually, it's a bit contradictory, but that will make your photo look more grainy, even though you've shot it at a lower ISO. And here's a few examples. Here is one photo taken one stop under, one photo correctly exposed, then one photo one stop overexposed. Then what we'll do is we'll bring it back in post, and you'll see that if we zoom into the shadows, even though the one stop underexposed is actually shot at a lower ISO, it looks like there's more grain. And that's because we've brought up information in the shadows, revealing that grain, versus the other photos where we haven't had to do that. So it doesn't matter what camera you're shooting with, even on the Canon R6 Mark III, don't think I'll shoot one stop under and have a slightly lower ISO to save your ISO performance. I'd recommend shooting even higher, then bringing it back, hiding that ISO grain instead of revealing it. Now, if you have shot at a really high ISO, for example, this is ISO 20,000, there are a few things that we can do in post to actually remove it. Now, to show you how good the R6 Mark III is, what I'll do is go ahead and zoom in. This is ISO 20,000 with no noise reduction applied. And I must say, I am really, really impressed. There's lots of texture and clarity in this image. Sure, there is a decent amount of grain. If I go ahead and zoom into 200, we can see that, especially in kind of darker and black areas, like for example, we've got the eye of the squirrel there. But overall, if you were told me, and I didn't know the ISO settings, what ISO is this, I'd probably said ISO maybe 10,000, 8,000. This is ISO 20,000. Now, obviously, there are a few things that we can do in Lightroom to improve this image. So first thing I would do is head over to the details panel. We've got our manual noise reduction here. So for example, what I might do is actually increase that, zoom into an area with a high amount of contrast, I might zoom out a little bit, and then try and remove it as best as we can from this area. But to be honest with you, you won't really get amazing results, especially if you've shot this high. So what I recommend doing instead is simply using AI denoise. Now, I don't recommend it on every single photo. I'd set a limit for yourself. My limit is around 6400. Anything higher than that, I'd use AI denoise, and anything lower than that, I'd use manual noise reduction. For the simple reason is AI denoise can take a considerable amount of time to apply to per photo. And in this particular shot, or particular photo shoot, when I was testing the RF 70 to 200mm and the R6 Mark III, I took around 1,800 photos, and I'm certainly not going to do manual noise reduction to every single photo. So I'd only apply it to photos that I've shot incredibly high. And what I can now do is show you the difference. This, in my opinion, is unbelievable. If I zoom into 200%, this is, don't forget, this is ISO 20,000 on the R6 Mark III. And I am genuinely surprised. Yes, I was using a really, really good lens. It was really sharp, but genuinely look at the quality of that. You can see the individual hairs on this squirrel, and it was a really, really dark environment. So if you are shooting with really high ISOs, AI denoise is really good. Now there are a few more things that we can actually do in post. So for example, let's take this photo here. Now I'm finding it's a little bit too high ISO. So this one here was actually shot at the highest that I did, 25,600, incredibly grainy. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and now click AI denoise.
One eternity later.
And as you can see, it has done a really good job removing that noise. The problem is it's still not a particularly good image. If we look at the bottom, there's still quite a lot of grain in the shadows here. And I kind of want to subdue that, kind of reduce that. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is by using masks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my mask selection here. I'm gonna go down to linear gradient, select the bottom half of this image, not affecting the squirrel. And then what I'm gonna do is to select the top half as well, as there's a decent amount of shadow in the top half of this image. So I'm gonna go ahead and click add, go to linear gradient, I'm gonna add another mask to this. I've got a top mask and a bottom mask. Then I'm gonna go to my exposure here and simply bring that down. Anytime that you want to remove grain, reduce your exposure. It will really hide that grain from your image. Grant you the grain is still there, it's just nowhere near as prevalent in your image. That's why I recommend shooting slightly higher when it comes to your exposure, then reducing down your exposure in post-production, which will hide a lot of that grain, and don't do the opposite. And as you can see, it does seem to be less grain in the photo. And I've got you, the grain is technically still there, you just can't really see it. Now there's a few more photos that I kind of want to show you. So that image I've already shown you, but I'm genuinely impressed by how good the low light performance is of this camera. Again, this is ISO 25,600, an ISO that I would never touch professionally on my Canon R5. Now yes, there is still a lot of grain. Then we go ahead and click AI denoise.
6.5 hours later.
And as you can see, the grain basically completely disappears without any of the downsides of using manual noise reduction. I, again, really like this photo. And what I've already done is actually applied those darken masks you can see to the top and bottom to again hide that grain that you can see in the darker shadow areas. So if you are struggling shooting in a low light environment, AI denoise is an absolute game changer in my opinion, but obviously there are plenty of other software out there that I'm going to be hopefully testing in the future, as well as getting yourself a newer full frame camera. I genuinely can't believe how good the R6 Mark III is in a low light environment. I was expecting it to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be this good. Now to show you exactly how good it is, what I've done is I've actually put a few of the photos that I've taken on that trip down in the link in the description, the high res versions, so you can download them and actually try it out for yourself to really see how good the low light performance actually is and how your settings will work with a newer camera like this. So going back to the original question, should professional photographers stop caring about high ISOs? Well, if you're using the latest camera and latest technology to remove ISO grain, to be honest with you, I think so. But what do you think? Now, if you would like to learn more about the Canon R6 Mark III instead of just talking about its low light performance, then go ahead and watch this video here. It's my Should You Upgrade video. And we talk about the newer specs that this camera has versus the original R6 and the R6 Mark II. So if you are thinking you need yourself a new camera, should you upgrade to the R6 Mark III? And hopefully that video answers your question. Thank you to all of my YouTube members that are currently supporting the channel. If you guys want to support the channel and get some awesome perks, including free Lightroom presets like the ones that you can see on screen, make sure to go ahead to the link in the description. I've been James for Photo Fever, and I'll catch you guys next week.